Please rise in body and or in spirit to sing, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
All right, everybody, we've got the choir in the aisles to help you out. I'm going to ask you to put your hands together and we'll groove together. 2, 3, and... Here we go. Enter, rejoice, and enter, rejoice, come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Join us inside to be warm. Join us inside to be warm. Say it again. Join us inside to be warm. Today will be a joyful day. Turn to your friend with a smile. Turn to your friend with a smile. And turn the other way. Turn to your friend with a smile. Today will be a joyful day. Let's be the ones to make change. Let's be the ones to make change. Let's be the ones. Let's be the ones to make change. Today will be a joyful day. One more time. Enter, rejoice. Enter, rejoice. Enter, rejoice. Today will be a joyful day.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Tim Atkins, your Director of Lifespan Religious Education. It is a beautiful day here at the Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church, a liberal religious community where love works. Our mission is to explore the eternal, nurture community, and build a more just world. Together, we dare to practice and embody the beloved community of all souls.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Abhi Janamanchi, one of the ministers who serves this religious community. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you're from, wherever you are on life's journey, whatever your gender identity, beliefs, or immigration status, you are welcome here. A special welcome to those joining us online virtually for this service, either live or recorded. We are so glad to have you with us this morning.
If you are new to Cedar Lane, we have a small gift for you. Please raise your hand if you're comfortable doing so, and keep it raised for a moment so our ushers can find you. And thank you for choosing to worship with us today. All are invited to stay after the service to enjoy coffee and conversation. If visitors choose to use a yellow mug, our members and friends will be sure to greet you because at Cedar Lane, yellow means
hello. At this time, I'd like to draw your attention to the announcement page in your order of celebration. There are many wonderful things happening on campus this week and in upcoming weeks. Please take a moment to look over them, through them, and plan on attending some or all of those. And here are a few highlights.
Our lay pastoral visitors work closely with the ministers to support the pastoral ministry of our congregation. If you have a pastoral need or concern, they will be available by the Joys and Sorrows Candles table after the service.
Thank you, Betsy, for being here today as our pastoral visitor. Also, the March 3rd combined campaign for our stewardship and capital campaign, the kickoff luncheon, is an event you really don't want to miss. This gathering, besides offering what I hear on good information, a free lunch and entertainment, will be all about our beloved Cedar Lane. It's a time to honor our past, recognize our ever-evolving present, and celebrate our promising future. Together, we'll celebrate relationships, community, and the opportunity to come together as a beloved community. So please join us at this seminal event in the life of our congregation, happening at the Women's Club, which is where it all started in 1951, when we came together to form this religious community. So we look forward to seeing many of you there. If you haven't RSVP'd, you may feel free to do so after the service in the lounge. People are ready to take your names and information, so we hope you will do that today after the service.
The Poor People's Campaign Mass Meeting is happening tomorrow, Monday, February 19th at 7 p.m. at Shiloh Baptist Church in D.C. We hope you're able to make it.
And today, after the service at 12:30, I will be in the chapel for our bi-monthly conversations where you have a chance to ask questions about our faith, about the state of Cedar Lane, or anything else that's on your mind. You are welcome to ask questions, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer all of them. But since we are a faith where to question is an answer, we will have a good time together. Hope to see you in the chapel at 12:30. And also, today's Share the Plate offering goes to support Rebuilding Together Montgomery County, an organization that has been doing amazing work here in our county for over 28 years, and has been providing free critical home repairs, energy efficiency upgrades, and accessibility modifications for Montgomery County's most vulnerable citizens, including seniors, veterans, persons with disabilities, families with children, and all living in low-income neighborhoods. Their mission is to ensure that every person has a safe and healthy home in which to live. And Cedar Lane has been a partner in this effort for many years. We not only have participated in these efforts here in Montgomery County, but members of our congregation have traveled to New Orleans for many years to assist with the rebuilding of New Orleans, and now will be headed to Houston later in March. So please consider supporting this important effort during the Share the Plate. And I just saw Kathleen Reedy stand up. We continue our discussion of Daring Democracy, the wonderful book that is the UUA Common Read that continues on Thursday evenings. Even if you missed last week, you're welcome to join the conversation this week in preparation for the Kiplinger lecture that Francis Moore LePay is going to deliver on March 11th at 2 p.m. right here in the sanctuary. With that, my friends, let's turn and greet our immediate neighbors. Let us center ourselves, inviting our mind, body, and spirit into this space with these words from the Reverend Bill Sinkford. We come together for common purpose to support one another and to proclaim the good news of our liberal faith in this hurting world.
Let us promise us that our first words will be affirmation for one another, not argument.
Do we need to change ourselves? Do we have to become something different to make a difference?
Who we are is not the question. The question is what we are called to do, become, and do.
Our task is to know a religious life, a spiritual life, with a commitment to make love real in our world.
Either one without the other is incomplete.
We weave our lives into a tapestry made up of countless stories where the warp and the woof hold both human triumph and human tragedy.
It is our faith that we weave into a tapestry of countless stories and that will bind us together and allow us to see a tapestry of community which can sustain us all.
Come, let us worship.
Okay, it's all downhill from there. Thank you, children. Thank you, children's choir. As Joseph and Martha Miranda come forward to kindle our chalice, symbol of our shared faith, please rise in body and or in spirit to share the chalice lighting words printed in your order of celebration. This is the church of the open mind that lights our search for truth. This is the church of the loving heart that helps us share joys and sorrows together. And this is the church of the helping hands that teaches us to serve the world. We light this chalice to remind ourselves to treat all people kindly, to take good care of the earth, and to live lives of truth, love, and service. You may be seated. Thank you.
I would like to invite our children, youth, and young at heart to come on up and join me on stage so we can talk. And Unitarians love talking, right? So come on up. Children, youth, young at heart. All right. We got a few joining us. And a few shaking their heads no. I get it. All right. So today our service is about what it means to be a you. Okay? And so I'm going to ask, what do you think it means to be a Unitarian Universalist?
I think being a Unitarian Universalist means to treat everyone kindly, treat yourself kindly, and treat even everyone that is not a UU kindly.
What a great answer. She was listening to the sermon last service. So, who else has an idea of what it means to be a UU? Anyone? Anyone from the crowd who was too shy to come up?
To share donuts with each other after chapel.
To share donuts with each other after the chapel.
Except not today.
Except not today. Sorry, no donuts today, but... All right, so for me, what it means to be a UU. I believe it means that we are called to love without exceptions. So for me, that means that we are called to love each other, no matter who they are, we're called to love them. And it also means that we're always learning. That we're always trying to learn more about ourselves and about the greater world. So love without exceptions, and we're always learning. So what do you think the best thing about being a UU or coming to Cedar Lane is?
Is you're all around all these people and you just feel like the love in you is spreading out.
All right. Everyone's thinking you're a ringer. And they're right. No, all right.
What's the question?
What's the best thing? The best thing about being a UU. So I'm going to come over here and ask little Mr. Abhi. Oh, over here, yes. Singing in the choir. Let's get we have some agreement for that one.
What is it, Leo? I think it's being it's chapel.
Chapel? You think chapel and maybe worship is the best thing about being a UU?
It's my butt.
Yeah, your birthday in March is the best thing about being a UU, yes. And what do you think the best thing about being a UU is?
Oh. Well, the best thing about being UU is being in community with people who are different from each other, but still find something in common to be able to do together.
Right. And my final question today is what, you guys already know it, I know. What is the hardest thing about being a UU?
The hardest thing is remembering that people are not bad, their actions are bad.
So what everyone doesn't know is that's my answer she remembers from last service.
It's to have to explain to people who are not UU about it and they're not understanding.
Yes. Absolutely. One second. Yeah, go ahead.
Finding it within myself to love Donald Trump.
Finding it in yourself to love Donald Trump. Which is very hard, according to our children. One more? Nope, okay. Yeah. See lots of points. Yes? When there aren't donuts on Sunday morning. Our coming of age fundraiser is taking a week break today. That's correct. All right?
When everyone chooses donuts over bagels, go bagel!
All right, and bagel fan. So for me, the hardest thing about being a UU is what you said, yes. But also, it is weeks like this. It's weeks where something awful happens. And it makes me want to challenge my faith and my belief in love without exceptions. But I realized this week that, I once heard this metaphor that the only time you need courage is when you're facing something scary. Because that's the only time you can have courage, is when you're facing something scary. And so for me, these weeks that really challenge my faith in the goodness of everyone, I need that faith most in weeks where I kind of want to lose that faith. And so for me, that's a reminder of the power of faith and how strong that faith in love without acceptance can truly be. So today, I want you to keep these 3 questions in mind throughout your day. What does it mean to be a UU? What's the best thing about being a UU? And what's the hardest thing about being a UU? And I hope throughout the day you can spark some conversations in coffee hour or the ride home or on Facebook or Twitter about your own answers to these questions. Thank you. All right, you guys can go back. Thank you for your help today. I'll go help.
New floor thing, I'm sorry.
Glad to have Chris with us. Down here.
Yeah, this is.
As I was saying, glad to have Chris with us. Kaylee was not feeling well this morning, and so Rachel has stepped in to give us a little support.
Keep drinking coffee, staring down across the table while I look outside. So many things I'd say if only I were able, but I just keep quiet and count the cars that pass by. You've got opinions, man, we're all entitled to them, but I never asked. So let me thank you for your time and try not to waste any more of mine. Get out of here fast. I hate to break it to you, babe, but I'm not drowning. There's no one here to save. Who cares if you disagree? You are not me. Who made you king of anything? So you dare tell me who to be? Who died and made you king of anything? You sound so innocent, all full of good intent. Swear you know best, but you expect me to jump up on board with you and run off into your delusional sunset. Who cares if you disagree? You are not me. Who made you king of anything? So you dare tell me who to be? Who died and made you king of anything? All my life I've tried to make everybody happy while I just
Thank you all. Each time we gather for worship, we gather not for our needs alone, but to bear witness to the joys, sorrows, and milestones that unfold in all of our lives, and to serve as companions to one another throughout these profound journeys of faith. We gather to build the beloved community, where all souls are welcome and lives are rendered whole and reconciled. Our hearts are with those for whom parenting is a primary spiritual practice. We hold in our circle of caring those who live with grief or chronic pain, with illnesses seen and unseen, with mental illness or addictions, those who have suffered abuse, and those who care for family members in ill health. We celebrate joyously and extend our thanks to the amazing Mary Farrar for organizing emergency preparedness trainings for the ushers, religious education administrators and teachers, membership team, and staff. This process culminates in next Sunday's fire drill. We hold in our hearts and prayers Chris Cox and other family and friends of Cheryl Zocchi, who passed away on February 15th. And we hold in our hearts the friends and family of Damon Miller. He passed away Saturday, February 10th, after a long battle with prostate cancer. Our caring extends beyond Cedar Lane to others in time of calamity and loss. We hold in our hearts the 17 young people and adults killed and the 14 injured in yet another mass shooting, this time at a high school in Florida. May these friends of ours, our companions in the world and all that lives unspoken in our hearts, be held in the embrace of prayer and silence.
Let us center ourselves in this time, bringing our mind, body, and spirit into easy alignment with our breathing. I invite you to get comfortable in your seat. Place your feet on the floor if you're able to reach the floor. Relax your body, your shoulders, neck, your face. Lower your neck just a little. And if you feel comfortable, close your eyes. And as you go deeper within to that place of silence and honesty, courage and compassion, hope and love, that gives you strength, that allows you to be present to the challenges and sorrows that we encounter in our lives. As we hold the people that we have lost, the innocent lives that were lost in yet another tragedy, as our heart breaks, may we find the strength that gives us the ability to carry on, the strength that comes from our community to be present to one another, to one another's joys and sorrows, and to the healing that is needed in this broken and beautiful world. Let us connect with the loving kindness that wells deep within. And first, let us cultivate loving kindness towards ourselves. So I invite you to think about a time when you were kind or generous to someone, a friend, a family member, or even a stranger. Or if you have trouble remembering something, think of a beloved animal companion, and their unconditional love. A puppy, a dog, cat, parrot. Think of how you feel when you are in their company, their presence, as the recipient of their unconditional love. And now direct that attention toward yourself and say, may I be well, calm, happy, healthy, peaceful. May I be protected from internal and external harm. May I be filled with loving kindness. And from that place, think of someone close, a family member or friend, a teacher, someone you know and care deeply about. And remembering them, say, may you be well, calm, happy, healthy, peaceful. May you be protected from internal and external harm. May you be filled with loving kindness. And now gently radiate your loving kindness into the community that you're a part of, this community. And remember all the people that you know who are a part of this community and say, may you be well, calm, happy, healthy, peaceful. May you be protected from internal and external harm. May you be filled with loving kindness. And now radiate loving kindness to the larger community, the world of which we are a part of. Remember all the beings known and unknown. And say, may you be well, calm, happy, healthy, peaceful. May you be protected from internal and external harm. May you be filled with loving kindness. I invite you now to join me in chanting Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Shanti means peace. And by chanting, we seek inner peace, communal peace, and universal peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In the silence that follows, those who are grieving the loss of a loved one, commemorating the loss of a loved one, or the loss of these innocent lives destroyed in yet another tragedy in Parkland, Florida. I invite us to rise in body and or in spirit. Let us enter the silence together. May it be so. Blessed be.
Please join me in reading responsive reading 657 in the Gray Hymnal, a reading from beloved Unitarian Universalist religious education minister Sophia Lyon-Faz. Please read the italicized passages after me. Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows, clouding children's days with fears of unknown calamities. Other beliefs are like sunshine, blessing children with the warmth of happiness. Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from unsaved, friends from enemies. Other beliefs are bonds in a world community where sincere differences beautify the pattern. Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Other beliefs are like gateways, opening wide vistas for exploration. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness. Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth. Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent in a changing world. Other beliefs are pliable, like the young sapling, ever growing with the upward thrust of life. Thank you.
I've been looking for a sound that makes my heart sing. Been looking for a melody that makes the church bells ring. Not looking for the time or the fortune it might bring. In love, in music, in life. Jesus preached the golden rule. Buddha taught it too. Gandhi said eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. With a little understanding, we can break these chains that we've been handed. I've got the medication. Love is the remedy. Pray to be stronger and wiser. Know you get what you give. Love one another. Amen. Amen. I've Stop and think about the mark that I'll be leaving. Been looking for a truth I can't believe in. I got everything I need. Let this heart be my guide in love, in music, in life. Not saying I'm a wise man. Heaven knows there's much that I'm still finding, making my way down this winding road, holding on to what I love, yeah, and leaving the rest behind for love, for music, for life. Pray to be stronger and wiser. Know you get what you give. Love one another. Love is a remedy. We're all in this world together. Life's a gift that we have to treasure. Happiness now, that is a measure. Love is a remedy. Everyone can be forgiven. One love and one religion. Open up your heart and listen. Love is a remedy. Pray to be stronger and wiser. Know you get what you give. God is love one another. Amen, amen, amen.
So when you asked me what is one of the best things about being a UU, I should have probably said what a blessing it is to have this amazing music ministry with our children, our youth, and our adult choirs. Thank you for that beautiful anthem. So I want us to picture, if you will, a dinner party. And it's a wonderful party with good food, good company. It's an eclectic gathering of people, all non-UU, people who are not part of this congregation or part of the UU community, people you know from your workplace or from school or people from your neighborhood, whatever the permutations and combinations are. It's a very eclectic gathering, and you're having a good time. And tonight, after a spirited discussion about the terrible state of affairs of our country, peppered with a spate of criticisms about our government and its leaders, the conversation turns to religion as a perfect accompaniment for dessert. And then people begin to share their religious experiences, their affiliations or lack thereof, and some of the good, bad, ugly, or comic encounters they've had in faith settings. Now here, unaccountably, our art and our guile elude us. You see, in most instances, a casual air of diplomacy, backed up by silence, usually frees us from having to admit that we are Unitarian Universalists. But tonight, however, we're caught a bit off guard, and let that one slip out. You are a what? A Unitarian Universalist, you say. Oh, I see. Obviously, he doesn't. So his spouse says, I've never really understood what it is you Unitarians believe. You are Christian, aren't you? Not exactly. I mean, we were. And some of us still are. but many of us probably aren't. Some of us are Jewish, some of us are Hindu, some of us are Muslim, some of us are secular humanist, and some of us are a combination or nothing in between. And by the way, it is Unitarian Universalist, not just Unitarian. So what's the difference? Well, Unitarian Universalism is the consolidation of two distinctive religions. Unitarians who came together in 1825 and Universalists who came together in 1793. And they consolidated in 1961 to form the Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations. So what did they believe? Unitarians believed in the unity of God, and Universalists believed in God's eternal love. Unitarian Universalist, that's a really long name. Yes, it is. Sounds like the name was coined by a committee. How did you know? So do you believe in God? Well, some of us do, if each in our own way. But some of us do not find the concept of God a useful one, and others of us are not sure. Okay, do you at least believe in Jesus? Well, not in the sense that he is our Lord and Savior or that he died for our sins. Many of us see him as a moral and spiritual Jewish teacher whose teachings have inspired people across the ages and moves us today. But few, if any of us, believe in the virgin birth or that he was physically resurrected on the third day or that he is the one and only Son of God. All right, what about the Bible? We see the Bible as a source of wisdom and inspiration, just as we see the Quran, the Torah, the Bhagavad Gita, the Dhammapada, the Zendavesta, and other religious scriptures as sources of wisdom and inspiration. But we also draw inspiration and guidance from poetry and music, science and nature, life and the lives of prophetic people. All right, what do you guys do at church? Well, we come together in community and do many things that any religious community does. We worship, we sing, some of us pray, some of us meditate, we listen to good music, we have religious education, we support and care for one another. We share ideas, we discuss political issues, we work on social issues and projects that affect the larger community, and we enjoy the companionship of like-minded people, usually with coffee and tea and donuts and bagels. Wow. Some of it sounds like NPR or PBS more than a church. Well, that's actually a good analogy. You see, NPR and PBS are good examples of what Unitarian Universalists support. We like to be exposed to a wide range of information and differing viewpoints. So, if I listen to NPR or watch PBS and I'm open-minded, am I a UU? Well, let's say you have UU tendencies. Because there are UUs who listen only to country western or hip-hop or opera or like to watch Fox News. We respect diversity in all things. Now, there's a shudder in the room when I say Fox News. But then it passes. And then someone asks, what about politics? Again, full spectrum. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, Greens, Independents, Socialists, you name it. We don't dictate which particular party one ought to join, though people for some reason mistakenly assume that being a UU also means being a card-carrying Democrat. Okay? So what do you really believe in? Well, not to destroy the mood, I assure them that we are non-creedal and non-dogmatic, that we are not a belief-centered religion, but a value-centered religion, that we are reasonable people, that we agree to disagree without being disagreeable. By then, there are such blank stares that I try hard to clarify that we do not expect people to believe in a certain way as much as to live their lives according to their beliefs and convictions in the best possible way they can. And then, in desperation, I let it be known in no uncertain terms that whatever we may believe, we pose no existential threat to the delicate balance of a successful dinner party. So everyone is relieved. In fact, some announce quite sincerely that they too feel just the same way as we do about religion, which is one of the reasons why they don't go to any church. And therein ends the party, with people announcing that it's getting really late. And they begin to leave. So what I have shared with you is a composite of awkward conversations I have had over the years, which I'm sure some of you have had as well, with the conversation usually ending with me feeling quite frustrated and somewhat discouraged that once again I have failed to capture what it is that makes Unitarian Universalism so wonderful and unique, and why it is my chosen faith. So today, in order to remedy that a little bit, I want to highlight a few, not all of the affirmations of our Unitarian Universalist way of being and doing religion, knowing full well that each of us will answer the what, how, where, when, who, and why of Unitarian Universalism somewhat differently than I will. Now, I personally like the term affirmation rather than belief, because to affirm literally means to make something firm and then doing it. Here are a few affirmations. Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes the inherent worth, dignity, and divinity of every person. That is, we say that all people on earth have equal claim to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and justice, no exceptions. It supports our inherent freedom to think, speak, believe, associate, learn, and serve. Not perfect freedom, but responsible freedom. It is to say that people can be different, can have different values, different beliefs, and different life perspectives and experiences without diminishing their value as human beings. Number 2, Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes unity. Unity of all things, all people, all experience. Now, unity is not the same as uniformity. In fact, unity is the reconciliation of differences. And those differences sometimes must be maintained and yet also overcome, so we are able to connect together with that deeper common humanity that we all share. And this unity affirms that there is no fundamental conflict between the sacred and secular, faith and reason, since they all have their source in the same reality. Number 3, Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes life. We appreciate and affirm life in all its myriad forms. Our faith calls us to say yes to life, despite the pain, the struggle, the challenge, and anxiety that lives bring. We are reminded that the problem we face is not to live without anxiety, but how to live with it. So we accept the tensions that life brings because we see that they offer us an ongoing challenge to creative and compassionate living. Which brings me to the next point. Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes life before death. We don't spend too much time speculating about life after death because we are more concerned about, as the poet put it, this one wild and precious yet ordinary life that we are called to live extraordinarily well. Even our Universalist forebears, who said everyone goes to heaven, basically said, if everybody goes to heaven, I guess we don't have to worry about the afterlife. And therefore, they were more concerned about this life, making it a more just, better place and caring for one another and this earth, and which is what we try to do to this day. Now, this emphasis on the present makes our faith relevant to the moment and to the issues which face us as people who are attempting to live with some integrity in the specific time and place into which history has thrust us. Number 5, Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes a free, responsible, and disciplined search for truth and meaning. We are a religion not of the closed mind or the empty mind, but the open mind. We're a religious movement that is grounded in freedom and use of reason that demands each of us a deep sense of personal responsibility and covenanted accountability. So each of us is responsible for our own spiritual growth and development, but doing that in the context of community, not in isolation. And we're also responsible for the planet that is our home, for the world in which we live, for the nation of which we are a part of, for the county and the state in which we reside, and the congregation to which we belong. Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes radical hospitality. The meaning of our lives, according to the liberal gospel, lies in the living of them. And true religion begins with hospitality to the newcomer, the stranger, the other. And by being responsive hosts, by practicing the rite of welcoming hands, we put our faith in action to help heal a hurting and broken world and build the beloved community where all souls are not only welcome but reconciled. And last but not least, Unitarian Universalism affirms and promotes love, which always seeks the welfare of others and never seeks to harm or destroy. So this love is a gritty, unconditional love that will not let us go when we feel alone or vulnerable, that will not let us down when we need to feel its presence, especially when we are faced with grief and sorrow and tragedy, so that we can continue to journey with courage, perseverance, and hope, and will not let us off the hook from doing the difficult covenantal work of growing a just, peaceful, and compassionate beloved community both within and without. Ours is a faith that is founded and built on what Sikh activist Valerie Kaur calls revolutionary love. A revolutionary love that calls us to love others by seeing no others as strangers. Love opponents by tending to their wounds, knowing that they too have broken souls. And to love ourselves and seek out joy in difficult times. That is the love on which our faith is founded in. So, my friends, in other words, we are called for our religion to work. We are called to work at it. So I want to conclude with these words from A. Powell Davies, who served All Souls in Washington, D.C. in the 1950s and helped form Cedar Lane. He said there are millions of Unitarian Universalists in America today, but not in UU congregations. There are millions of Unitarian Universalists who do not know its history, they do not know its basis, they do not know its purpose. They do not know that they themselves are Unitarian Universalists. If a true religion is to shape the world to peace and freedom, these people must be joined together to advance its cause. Religion with worn-out creeds cannot do it. Irreligion cannot do it. Confused religions cannot do it. If the strength of a free person's faith is to be the undergirding of the world tomorrow, a world so full of dangers yet so rich in opportunities, and if the people of America must rise to take their place within this venture, there must be hundreds of new congregations, multitudes of pioneers. This will come about partly if Unitarian Universalists will preach their faith. But it will come about most assuredly if Unitarian Universalists are willing to live their faith, live it into aim and purpose, for such a faith lived into actual life would be itself the power of God invincible. And to those words and the challenge that he put forth before us, I say, amen. People say, amen. All right.
The Reverend Victoria Weinstein writes, "The purpose of a religious community is to encourage all who gather there to grow more generous in spirit and in action. This is the great end of the world's faith traditions, to bring the human being closer to the divine by acts of creation and compassion. We now take an offering that allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit, an offering that will support this self-supporting congregation, its many ministries, and today, the work of rebuilding together Montgomery County. The offering will now be given and gratefully received."
Thank you, David. I think you said many ministries, not many ministers, right? Just to be clear.
I meant to.
Many ministries. Travis.
Hello.
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 So I hear there's going to be something happening this coming Saturday at 7:30 in the sanctuary.
That's correct, yes.
And that you have something to do with it.
Yes, my show, iMusical, which I started in 2006. We are grateful to be part of the concert series for Cedar Lane, and our show is this Saturday night.
All right, so this is a concert.
Well, it's music theater is what it is.
Oh, it's music theater.
Music theater, yes.
And would that mean, does that mean that those who are there will be joining in the theater, that it would be participatory?
Well, it's the iMusical is iMac, iPhone, iTunes, iMusical. The I in iMusical is for improvised musical. So we will be making up a musical on the spot, a one-act show in front of the audience. So all of the lyrics, all of the music, all of the dialogue, the scenes, it will all be instant and in front of the audience.
So will there be interpretive dance?
No. There won't be much dancing, but it will be modern music theater in the sense of like Rent and Ragtime and Hamilton.
Oh yes.
It'll be modern music theater searching for truth, and often searching for truth is comedic. So that will probably happen as well.
Well, that sounds both exciting and somewhat nerve-wracking to be put on the spot, to be able to come up with things.
It's less nerve-wracking. There is a bit of anxiety sometimes because every show is different and you don't know what's going to happen until you're there. So you want to get to it, but it's not really nervous.
So you're talking creative anxiety.
Yes, that's correct.
Well, let's put you through that then.
Excellent.
Excellent. So,
to give you an example of the kind of thing that you're going to see on Saturday night, I need a suggestion from the audience. So what I would like is throughout the service today, you probably heard some words that stuck in your brain. Rather than yelling out the most obvious word, how about the second or third or fourth obvious word if you had to rank them? What would be one of those words be? Collection plate. That was one of them. That was a recent one. How about something else? Joy. Compassion. Community. Anxiety. All right. Okay. Yeah. I think we got plenty there. I think we got
All
plenty
right.
there. So as we start the offertory, and you can quiz some of the people here that you think were at the 9 a.m. because I guarantee you this will be a very different song from the 9 a.m. Performance. Enjoy our improvised song. I don't have a lot of money. I'm not very rich. My bank account is not as big as I would like it to be. I don't have the boats and cars or the fancy clothes, but I have things that make me happy to be me. I'm not one of the 1%. I'm one of the 0.001% because I have family and the things that make me me. I'm not one of the 1%. I'm one of the 0.001%. At least my family makes me feel like that is me. I see on TV all sorts of celebrity strangeness. People doing lots of weird things. And I wonder, how are they when the camera's off? Do they wish that they could be me? I'm not part of the 1%. I'm part of the 0.001% because my family, that's how they make me feel. I'm not part of the 1%, no, I'm part of the 0.00001%. At least my family makes it seem to me. The 1%. I'm part of the 0.001%. At least my family makes it seem to me.
Thank you, Travis. iMusical this Saturday at 7:30 here in our sanctuary. For all that we bring and share to make this a beloved community, may we be grateful. Please rise to sing in body and or in spirit, This Little Light of Mine.
All right, here we go. This little light. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light, can't hear you. This little light of mine,
I'm gonna let it shine. This light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Hide it under a bushel? No.
Hide it under a bushel. No. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. No. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. No. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Building up a world together.
Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine.
Building up a world.
Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh yeah. Building up a world. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
One more time. It's the light.
I'm gonna let it shine. It's still light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, 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 shine. It's still light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine.
That these words of Universalist foremother Olympia Brown, the first woman to be awarded full ministerial standing by an American denomination in 1865, be our inspiration. Show up for this faith. Work for it and sacrifice for it. There is nothing in all the world so important as to be loyal to this faith which has placed before us the loftiest ideals, which has comforted us in sorrow, strengthened us for noble duty, and made the world beautiful. Do not demand immediate results, but rejoice that we are worthy to be entrusted with this great message, that we are strong enough to work for a great true principle without counting the cost. Go on finding ever new applications of these truths and new enjoyments in their contemplation, always trusting in the one God which ever lives and loves. Go in peace, go making peace. Live gently, love mightily, and bow to the mystery. Because when the Spirit says do, do.
You got to do when the Spirit says do. Join now, you got this do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do. Oh, you've got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 We're going to sing. We've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. We've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, we've got to sing. Oh Lord, you've got to sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 Move your feet, let's dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. You got to dance when the Spirit says dance. When the Spirit says dance, you've got to dance. And Lord, you've got to dance when the Spirit says dance. 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 Let's hear y'all laugh. We got to laugh when the Spirit says that. You got to laugh when the Spirit says that. When the Spirit says laugh, you got to laugh. Oh Lord, you got to laugh when the Spirit says laugh. 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 You got to shout, everybody. We got to shout when the Spirit says. So they can hear the river roll. You got to shout. The Spirit says. When the Spirit says shout, you got to move. Oh, you got to shout when the Spirit says shout. 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 Let's do it one more time. You got to do when the Spirit says do. You got to do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you've got to do. Lord, you've got to do when the Spirit says do. 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 Thanks, everybody.